I promised a video every day, and today is day 3, and today was a little bit of a shit show. We're dealing with people who are sick in this house. I'm getting sick. Carly had to go to the doctor today. Dylan's getting better. Mara's been sick. We barely slept last night. It's crazy. So I figured, what better thing to do than just do a sit down. Just do like a one take. Yeah, there may be some edits here and there because I'll probably say something stupid. But just do a video that's going to be me doing a talking head thing. And then I can shoot it and edit it really quickly. And I get my video out and I meet my goal. So one of the things that I haven't talked about yet, that it's just maybe people are curious, maybe they're not. If this video is not for you, just stop watching. But people wonder, what is your career? What do you do for a living? What do you do during the day? Those types of questions. And it's not that interesting, but yet it is. So, what you do for a living clearly doesn't define you, but it's a big part of your life. And you probably spent some amount of time gaining the skills necessary to do that job. So, I know I've mentioned it before, but I'm an attorney. And I work in the area of taxes. So I'll give you some more specifics and tell you about some of the other things I've done through my life and what has gotten to me to this point. So I went to college. I majored in sociology and secondary education. So sort of fluffy majors, but it was a liberal arts school. So there's a lot of fluffy majors going on. And then right after that, I went to law school. So law school is 3 years. So I graduated from law school. And then shortly after that, I went and I got my master's in accounting and an MBA. That was like a really quick program that was really intense and really difficult. Probably one of the most difficult academic things I've done in my life. But so got those degrees. And then I came out of there and I worked in a big accounting firm, Big 4 accounting firm, and got involved in sales tax, sales and use tax, value-added tax, what's often called indirect taxation, transactional tax, and that is my niche area. So I'm a licensed attorney in New Jersey. Also have the background with the accounting and the MBA, and so I've specifically though worked in this track that has to do with sales and use tax. And even more specific from that, software. So software that does sales and use tax for big companies, small companies, medium-sized companies, point of sale. There's a lot involved in it, and I don't want to bore you. And I did work in the Big 4 firm for a little bit a few years ago, but my niche really, I like working for software companies and working in this really niche space of sales and use tax and value-added tax. So that's what I'm doing now. So my employer is actually now, it's a really big software company that everybody knows, but I'm not going to say who, just for privacy reasons. And yeah, and I do sales and use tax. And you wonder probably well, you're an attorney, so how does that work out? Well, sales and use tax is driven by a lot of laws, and it's a very complicated area. There's so many gray areas. Not everything's black and white. It's always changing. Legislation's being passed in various states across the United States, and while they are trying to while they are trying to make things more uniform, they're just not. And it's really complicated. And so having the skills of an attorney, being able to read the law, being able to analyze, being able to write, I write a lot, and taking all those skills into that little niche area is really, really a big thing. So that's my big, what I do. I've been in the sales and use tax space as an attorney for well over 10 years now. So I'm well versed in the space, and that's really exciting. It took me a while to get there. When I first started out, I didn't really know what direction I was going in. I knew I liked taxes. I knew I was an attorney. I just wasn't sure how all the pieces were going to fit together. So let's take it to the side there, because you talk about going to law school and being an attorney, and that's very academic type of things, right? Takes a certain amount of intelligence, but doesn't allow for a lot of creativity because the law is the law and working in corporate America or software companies. I mean, there's, obviously a certain processes. So the creative space is where I've done my side gigs. You've probably heard me talk about this before. I worked as, all through like law school, after law school, I worked as a DJ in nightclubs. I actually did mix shows on the radio on the weekends. So I had a mix show that was on every Saturday night on WBMX Boston, which was really cool, really exciting. And I had mix shows that were on various other radio stations in different parts of the country that were syndicated shows that I worked on. So that was a big part of my life is DJing. And then I took that and I went into doing weddings and events because there was a lot of good money there. So I DJ'd a ton of weddings. I was in the Boston area when I was doing that. I DJ'd a few here in New Jersey, but more so that was my life in Boston. And and from there, really got into photography and said, boy, I want to be a wedding photographer. So I went and I did wedding photography and did that for a few years very successfully in the Boston area professionally, and went on to teach other photographers about business and legal issues and tax issues. And that was pretty cool. Wrote some articles for major magazines like Rangefinder. I had an article in Rangefinder about sales tax and just various things. So heavily involved with like South Sincana and Shutterfest and Behind the Shutter magazine. And so I did a lot of really cool like visible photography stuff. And then we had our girls and we moved to New Jersey, and it was really difficult to try to continue to take my business and then rebuild it in New Jersey. So I didn't, and I got involved with this YouTube channel. But point of it is beyond being an attorney, I also have these other interests that I'm really into that are creative. So our YouTube channel, like that's another one. I decided a few years ago to start a YouTube channel, not really, I don't know, knowing where it would take me, but the big reasons why were because I wanted to preserve memories of our family. And otherwise, if I didn't do this, I'd have, and I do often have, just a bunch of footage that sits on a hard drive, like an external hard drive somewhere that you don't do anything with and you forget about and you don't put it together into a story, and it just sits there and it gets dusty and old and forgotten. So that's why I wanted to start doing these videos. But yeah, so that's just probably the longer version than you needed of what I do. I do work from home, which is a really nice opportunity to have. I'm very grateful for that opportunity. Work is hard though. Just because you work at home doesn't mean it's any easier. Probably the expectations may be more because you don't have to commute and you may have more time to put in your day. Or after you make dinner for the family, it's easy to go and work again. So, there's definitely a balance there. Mark works from home as well. So, it's just like, it's not like, ooh, you work from home, right? You don't work. No, that's not the case. Like we work a lot. And we work hard, and we also value the time then that we have with our family. But you guys probably, you see some of the we moved into this beautiful, amazing house last year, and without, our careers and what we've accomplished, this wouldn't have been possible. So it's just, we put in a lot of hard work, and we're very appreciative and grateful for where that's gotten us in life. It's, when you're younger, you're not thinking about things like a house. It just seems like something like someday I'll have a house, but maybe I won't. And then when the time comes, it's just, don't get me wrong, it's a liability. So if anybody's thinking like, oh, it's a great thing to have a house, like it is another liability. But at the end of the day, it's better to own a home and pay a mortgage for 30 years than it is to rent and always be a renter. That's a proven fact. But if you want to rent, there's no problem there because you also don't have anything to worry about liability-wise, because if something breaks, somebody else pays for it. I don't know. We're in a weird place in this country in terms of, what is so important, what's, and doing things differently. So whatever. Not to digress here, but, if you own a house, cool. If you don't, cool. It's all what you choose and what's important to you. I just feel grateful that I do own a house. And, I own a car and the important things in life. And I really think that that's, what the emphasis is here is, yeah, we've worked hard, but, it's not all about money and it's not all about having things. It's really about experiencing life and being healthy and being grateful to have the people around you that you love. because they're not always going to be there, you know, like our older relatives, for example, who pass away. You know, time is limited. So I think as you become older, that's what I've really learned, is that, you know, like, money isn't everything. Money can't buy you happiness. And yeah. And like, careers are important, but you know, it's not the end all be all in life. So I've tried to like diversify my life and myself and my professional life and my personal life and my creative life, and always trying to balance that so that I can feel really good about where I am. And lately my issue has been time. Like, it's not kidding. Like, I don't have a lot of time for the creative endeavors that I want to do. I really want to be producing music again, because that's something I did. And the thing is like, I just can't find the time for it. It's been so difficult, because I love spending time with my family and I love the girls and I love all this stuff, but it's just like, I gotta figure this out. I gotta figure out and like prioritize, because I can guarantee you there's several nights a week where I spend an hour or an hour and a half sitting on the couch watching TV, or like maybe looking at my phone or looking at Instagram, and I could spend that time doing something that pertains to music production or making a song. Or writing a song, and I haven't done that. So it's all about priorities, because we, you know, all of us say we don't have time, but the truth of the matter is that if it is that important to you, you're gonna make the time for it. So I just have to figure out, how important is it to me, and when am I gonna get to that point where I make the time for it. This is a really long video, so I'm just curious, for the people that watch our channel, what do you do? Like, what's your profession? What do you do for a living? And if you don't work yet, like, what do you want to do? What would you like to do for a living? And yeah, I think it's interesting. It's an interesting question to ask, because I think a lot of us like grow up with like one idea of what we want to do, and then we get like shot in a totally different direction. And that's what's cool about life. Like, I think it's great that I've gotten to experience so many things. And so that'd be like my piece of advice for people, is try things. Like, try lots of things, because you just don't know what you want to do when you're, you know, 14, 16, 18, you know, 25. Like, so you don't know. Like, you just have to try a lot of things and figure it out. And I think that's what just helps you figure out who you are as a person too. So my voice has been really crackly, really crazy this whole video, so I apologize. And yeah, I'm getting sick. I'm gonna try to keep pushing out these videos for this Vlogmas, so that, you know, I've got something coming every day. This is something that I said to myself, this is important, and so that's why I'm doing it. So thank you for watching this video. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Obviously a little bit different than what we usually do, this really long talking head video where I'm like literally talking to you, like you just see my head talking to you. But yeah, it was good. It was fun. I feel like I just put something down on video that, you know, maybe it'll help people. Maybe it'll start conversations, start people thinking, and that like my kids may watch someday, or my grandkids may watch someday and be like, huh, that's interesting. Never knew that about her. So anyway, thanks a lot, and we'll see you tomorrow.